Hello again, everyone. In this technical analysis of the stock market video, I call it Bulls on Espresso, because just when you think this thing was about ready to crater and roll on over, it's almost the bulls have gotten extra life. You know, they've got a couple, they probably took a double shot of Espresso is the way it's acting right now, and I'm going to tell you why I say that. You know, last week in the video, I called it at a crossroads, and I really felt like, so if we go back here 5 days, right here was Friday, October 2nd. And I really felt like, you know, we could be rolling over, we could break down in here, but we didn't get any follow through. Monday, we popped up and we pushed the whole rest of the day. Now, we got that day on Tuesday when President Trump decided to put out the tweet and the market cratered in the afternoon. But other than that, this market just pushed the entire week. So let's take a look at this. We're going to look at the Nasdaq Composite this week. We looked at the S&P 500 last week and the Dow Industrials the week before. So the Nasdaq was up 158.96 on Friday. Pretty strong move. Continue to push. When we look at the weekly view, I'm going to pull that over here. You can see it was up 505 points for the week, and it closed well above the trading of the last 4 weeks. So really acting very, very strong. And I really think that we are in a fifth Elliott Wave move in here, a fifth minor wave. Okay, and here's the picture. Here's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the move coming off the March 23rd low. And I guess I said minor wave. The labeling I've got in here is intermediate wave on the Nasdaq Composite. So we're in the fifth intermediate wave, and we're working our way up in here. Now, what's really interesting is we're going to look at the McClellan Summation Index in just a minute. But when you start looking at this low right here, was 10,519.49, and that was September 21. Now, that was actually a down day because we closed just slightly. We closed the previous day 793, and we closed that day at 778. All right, so since that day, since that low, we have had 10 up days, okay? So just remember that, 10 up days. When we go and take a look at the McClellan oscillator data, okay, so here's advancing and declining issues on the NASDAQ. So I'm looking at the NASDAQ right now. So NASDAQ advancing issues, NASDAQ declining issues. What I do is I take the advancing issues as a percent of the combination of the two. So the total of advancing and declining. And what I've done is anything that is less than 2/3 or less than 66%, I color it orange. So that anything greater, 66% or greater, jumps out at you. Since September 21st, we have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 10 days, 6 out of 10 up days. Okay, not all these days were up, but 6 out of 10 up days had advancing issues that were at least 2/3 of the total of advancing and declining. That's very, very strong. Okay, I'm going to come back to this in a minute if I can figure out how to get out of it. There we go. What I want to look at is back over here, this leg. So I'm going to compare the way we're starting off right here with what we had going on in this last leg up back here from July 24th to September 2nd. And I'm talking about the last leg, minor wave 5 of intermediate wave 3. In that segment, okay, there were 21 up days. There were only, I'm looking at my data, 5 out of 21 up days, the advancing issues as a percent of total that were 2/3 or greater. Only 5 out of 21. We've had 6 out of 10 already in this push that's begun. We're getting a pretty strong move in here. That's what's making me think, not only with the wave count and everything, but it makes me think that, okay, I don't think this is a corrective move in here. I think we're doing some kind of impulsive move out here to finish wave 5. That's what we're looking at. The other thing, when we go back and take a look at that McClellan oscillator data, the breadth data actually, let's take a look at the summation index. Okay, the summation index is like a cumulative of the McClellan oscillator. So this is the zero line. When it breaks below zero, it's pretty negative. That's what happened back here in March. That's what happened back here in the fall of 2018. Okay, but a couple of times in 2019, we approached zero and then turned up. It's exactly what just happened. We approached zero. It looked like we were going to go right through zero and then everything was going to fall apart. But no, we've curved back up and the summation index is rising. So that's a pretty strong indication that the market strength is turning up in here, along with the breadth that I just talked about in terms of that measurement. I want to take a look at the VIX right now. This is another thing. We look at a lot of things in here, but on a daily basis. And by the way, if you want more of this kind of information on a regular basis, head on over to joehenches.net, which is getting blocked out. And that's the website. And check out the website, check out the membership. So the thing I noticed on the VIX is that it broke down on Friday in terms of the intraday low all the way down to 24, well below anything it had experienced over, the last, over a month. I really felt like this was holding in here, and everybody's talking about that the volatility is staying elevated because of the upcoming election, etc., and everything that's going on right now. But then all of a sudden, we're getting this kind of a breakdown move in here. So this seems to be in sync with the push that's going on in the market to push higher. Okay, now I want to do an update on Tesla. Okay, but before I do that, I just remembered there was something else I wanted to mention in here. In this segment back here, remember I talked about only 5 out of 21 up days had a breadth of 2/3, 66% or higher in here. Well, one of my videos that I'd put out, I looked back at the videos in August 22nd, and where's August 22nd? Well, here's the 21st, Friday the 21st, so it had been the very next day on a Saturday. I said that we were running on empty, and that's exactly what was going on in this whole segment. It kept rising and kept pushing, but the breadth just wasn't there in the market. And then the very next video on the 29th, they said we were pulling the rubber band and stretching this. This is exactly what we were doing. And then boom, the rubber band snapped back. So now we've had this little corrective move. We had the opportunity to fall out of bed, but it's not happening. Let's take a look at Tesla, because I've talked about Tesla a couple of times, and I'm going to scroll down here and pull it up. Okay, so this is just my standard moving average view. Let me take a look at the Elliott Wave picture. Here's what I think is happening, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit to get a bigger picture. I've talked about this before, and I think that we're in this wave. Let me get it here. We're in this cycle wave, a third cycle wave, okay? And I don't feel like it's complete. I think we have finished the third primary wave, third of 5, right? So this is what I think is going on. So as I started looking at this for this wave 4, it kind of jumped out at me that it really looks like a triangle. That's a sideways type move. We had a, kind of a deep, sharp corrective move in here for wave 2, and we're getting the opposite for primary wave 4, sideways. Now, the real question is, I'm thinking and I'm looking for this to pull back a little bit deeper, but there's always the possibility that this little pullback that just occurred right in here, zoom in, is all we're going to get for wave E. Now, I think it's really hard to tell, but I think the sign will be if we push above this high right here, 461, so say 462, we push above 462, then I think there's a pretty good chance that primary wave 5 is underway, okay? And I'll be looking for 5 waves up in Tesla for that. So that's my best take on this. I think either we have finished wave 4, this triangle pattern, or we're very close, probably just a few days away from finishing it. and we're going to be off and running in this fifth wave. Okay, that's it for today. If you felt like the video was helpful, give it the thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, then hit that little subscriber button. And if you would like to have more of this kind of information on a regular basis, head on over to joehenches.net and check out the website and membership. Everyone have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll talk to you on the next video.